It looks pretty good. Was that, DeRosa Company, is that gas meter, was that for out south? What's that?
WIE.
WIE, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, since we hooked up CPS to that gas line
Yeah.
now, they wanna be able to read their own gas meter.
Yeah, which is understandable. I
Yeah.
understand it, so.
Yeah, I really didn't have,
2673.82.
what was that other one, 4,000, wasn't it, Rick, that we looked at? So,
Well, the question is, does it read accurately? Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's good.
The same thing,
yeah.
it is the same thing.
Any other questions on any of that?
I'd make a motion, we approve the bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second, we approve the bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. CDBG.
Oh, we gotta
project.
have our public
Okay.
hearing, we gotta open up the public hearing for
Okay,
I'd make a motion, we open up the public hearing.
for the fiscal year
Yeah,
2015
yeah, sure.
budget amendment. Cause we have to amend our budget.
been moved and seconded, we open up the public hearing for the 2015 budget amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
We'll-
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Meeting's now open.
And we'll talk more about that down under new business, about the amendment. And obviously, since there's nobody here, we don't really have to keep the
Well,
public
I wouldn't
hearing
call these
open.
people nobody.
Any comments?
I'll stand up for you guys. You guys got any comments on the budget, Rob? Okay.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to call you nobody.
You're nobody called today.
There's nobody other than employees of the city here.
Okay,
Thank you for clarifying.
for that clarification. And since I see nobody walking in the door,
I'd make a motion, we close the public hearing.
is there a second?
Second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we close the public hearing on the 2015 budget amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we move to the CDBG project.
There we go.
Update.
There's really not a lot to update. You can see the email that Joe put in there. It looks like there's just a couple of things that we have to get done. The flow sensor, the seating in the rock, and then we should be done. Right, Rick? Do you have anything else that you can think of that?
Seating and rock by when we get done till.
Yeah, it'll be a little while before
No,
that
we got
gets
some
done.
electrical to do up in the Fuller plant yet, correct?
No,
That's done?
Well,
everything they're gonna do.
Okay. all right.
yeah, we do have to hook up the generator yet.
Okay.
We
yeah.
do have to get that done, but we've got to get a building built
That
before.
was part of the CBD deal, was it?
Well, it really wasn't part of it, but we got the generator. We got a generator for that purpose. So, I mean, yeah, we need to get that done. So, but we got to get a building built first, and it's
Yeah.
got to be a pretty special building. It's got to have a concrete tub basically in it to hold the
Dike.
fuel tank,
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be close to our well. So, but that's something that we'll work to get done this summer, the building, and then we can get the generator put in there, and that shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. So,
So when we get all done with this project, then can we have some kind of a report on it then, and what our overages ended up being and why they were, you know?
oh yeah,
So we can review that. And I think for dragging it out 5 years, it's,
There's some
your
things we
costs are
probably
gonna,
forgot
your
already.
costs are gonna go up because of that, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Mhm.
Everything gets more expensive and this and that, but
yeah. And if you remember the original cost that the original project was going to be was $865,000 or $70,000, and we kind of decided that was way too high, and so we switched gears and went with a whole different engineer, and you know, that worked out well, but it's just taken us longer than we wanted it to, so.
And a lot of it no fault of our own, or, you know, some of it's fault of engineering, it's fault of this and that, but boy, I tell you,
Yeah,
seemed like we stubbed our toe.
Yeah.
it wasn't
Every step we took, we
smooth.
stepped backwards too there for a
Yeah.
while.
It wasn't smooth there for, and pretty much all last year wasn't smooth, you know. But we're getting to the end of it, and hopefully by May we can close it out.
A lot of
So
the place was just trying to find a place to put the well.
Yeah, yeah.
that was one of the biggest things, finding the well. And then when we did find water, we had nitrates in it, and then we figured out how we were going to get by that, and then we found the dump, and
We had to get under the railroad tracks, we had to,
yeah.
just everything kept coming at us.
So yeah, I can get a report on that, Rob.
I think it'd just be nice to have, so that somebody asks us, you know, from time to time, people ask you what's going on there. And
System been
bet they
running
do.
good?
Yeah. Actually, I ran it for 5 days. And I didn't let anybody know nothing about it. There was a reason for that, because I didn't want their brains to think. well,
Oh, yeah, I hear you, yeah.
I just wanted to be, and then shortly after that, we got a call from Julie not to run it till we got a permit, which I'd already shut it down, but I started it last week, and I had no complaints, other than one person said the water was oily. And nobody knows when I ran it, so they would never know. And I've smelled it and tasted it and tested it and everything else. And I'm pretty picky on water, because I grew up on a farm like most of us had, and couldn't stand city water. I love Walter's water taste. I gotta increase the chlorine a little bit, otherwise the residual goes down. But other than that,
When that one runs down there, you got to increase the chlorine.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. There's more
well,
iron.
not much. You know, just a little bit to keep the residual in the system up.
Yeah.
We've been testing pretty hardly all over.
Just a
all
little
over the
bit,
place.
a little bit more demand on that well for chlorine.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else? Then we'll move on, discuss approve FY 2016 budget, the city, library, and fire department.
Yeah, and what I put in the packet here is just the front page of the budget. So the main thing that I want to point out there is that our tax rate has gone down from last year to this year. Last year was 9.92, somewhere in there, and this year's 9.88, so that's gone down a little bit. Also would point out that our valuations have gone down. And the reason why that is because the state is doing the commercial property rollback. They're starting to roll that back now. So commercial businesses don't have to pay tax on 100% of what their business is valued at. They're going to start rolling that back every year until it gets to be pretty close to residential. So we're gonna. This year it wasn't terrible. I think it was $500 or $700 that it's going to cost us. But the state's telling us that they're going to backfill that. They're going to pay for that. Well, I guess we'll see that, and we'll believe that when we see it. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but like I
Gary
said,
Worthen actually talked about that at our League of Cities meeting.
Yeah.
yeah,
They're looking to find ways, but they've got less revenues too
right.
this year. So.
And that's why, I'm not going to count on it. I mean, I don't think we can count on it. But like I said, this year it's going to hit us about $500. It's not a huge deal, but we certainly are going to, in the future, we're definitely going to notice some lower taxes.
They also talked about the beings that they're gonna raise or up the fuel road use tax.
They've been talking about that for a while.
So cities will end up getting more money out of that too, so.
Yeah, and you know, if they do that, if they do what they're talking about, if they up that by 10 cents, I think it is, Wall Lake would get roughly $14,000 or $15,000 extra, is what they're talking about. So, and that would, we don't levy for any of that.
Yep.
We don't have any
Yep.
of that,
Yep.
you know, here, but we do budget for it. That'd give us, instead of 80,000, it'd give us about $95,000 a year for our roads, which will certainly help.
Yes, yeah.
So that's all I really want to point out on that page, page 6. Page 7 then is the library budget, and you can see at the top there they've got Sac County, they got Wall Lake, and then they got their memorials, and that's their revenues and their expenses, and it's obviously a 3% increase that they want from us. And then you can look, next page, page 8 is the fire department, and $28,113.75 is the total amount that they're asking us for, which, like I pointed out in the last meeting, is down about $500 from last year, somewhere in that area. So we can, if you guys want to, we can go through the budget. I put a full spreadsheet on each one of your computers of the budget. We can go through that line item by line item if you want to, or you know, maybe not line item by line item, but we can go through it more in depth if you guys want to. If you don't want to, if you feel kind of comfortable with where we're at, we can go ahead and approve this. And then what you see on the front here, or not on the front, on page 6, that'll go into the paper. Won't be exactly page 6, but it'll be the full budget review will go into the paper, and then we'll be able to have our public hearing for our 2016 budget at our next meeting. So you guys let me know what you want to do. We can get out of this.
Ron and I were discussing earlier that we kind of set our marker at 2% for City of Wall Lake this year, you know, as far as wages and that.
And I would tell you that both councilmen that I've talked to, Gary and Albert, would mirror that, leaving it at 2%, or even they would actually even like to see it lower than that. So they're on the same page.
I don't think it should be any higher than 2. That's what we did with the other
Yeah.
employees.
I mean, I don't know what the 2%, you know, we're gonna, decrease that by not $200 if we drop it 1%, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, what did Gay say? It was roughly $500 that they were asking for, I think, at 3%. So yeah, if you took a third of that away, it'd be $160.
The other thing we were discussing was the librarian. Do they set her wages? Library board, and then I don't remember ever voting on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we ever have. I think if you look in here, if you look at page,
7.
yeah, page 7. Is it at the,
It's right in the middle.
okay.
The expenses, it's got library assistant librarian. It
There you
says-
go. See, and that would show a 3% increase, I'm sure. I didn't do the math, but I'm sure that's what they would have done there. So, yeah, I believe they set that, and then I guess I think what we do is, if we approve the budget, then I think that's probably how we approve that. That would be my understanding anyway.
You have to prove it all in its entirety, then you're saying?
I don't think we'd have to do that. I think we can kind of do whatever we want to there.
But if we throw it back to 2% right now, do we have to throw it back to them and they gotta figure out where they?
No,
cut the 1% or?
Oh, so are you asking if we give them a 2% increase and, all we wanna do is increase the librarian's wage by 2%? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, that's what.
I don't
that's
know
kind
if
of-
it's in that already, I don't know.
That's what we're asking, I mean, we're just trying to figure out if we cut it back to 2%, where are they gonna cut it? Is it
Yeah.
gonna be the way?
Well, let me get a calculator here because I'm
Cause we're paying everything anyway.
pretty sure that, yeah.
So what
Well, I wouldn't say everything.
No, because Sac County pays,
yeah, no, I
15,000.
understand that.
But see, yeah, see what happens is Sac County pays the city, so we put it into our account and then we pay the library bills however they come. Sometimes there are some bills, and I don't think it's anything special. Lynn may be able to tell me different, but that we pay out of the now account. Sometimes Jody will just say, yeah, pay this out of the now account, but I don't know that it's any special bill on here that they would say that we would pay out of that. Is it? I mean, it's just sometimes she'll say,
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
She'll just say, pay it later. Most of the remodel stuff is done out of the account.
yeah, then the now account is just the grants and stuff they
Yeah.
receive, right?
right,
So who writes Jody's check? Who writes her?
we do.
We do, okay.
Yep,
Right.
that's on our payroll.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the 3% is already built into the wage. She's getting paid $15.75 right now. So that's
$15.97. So yeah.
22 cents.
Guess that's not that big a deal.
Well, it isn't, but I guess next year when they come to.
Next year we should only allow them 1%.
Just need to pay a little more attention to it.
You know, yeah.
Well, I guess my thought was, I've been pretty critical of the library lately, and people have let me know that I've been critical. But I mean, if we give our employees a 2% raise, I'm not so sure why the library should be any different.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going.
Well, that's kind of where we are, but we don't want to pick a fight with the rest of the town over $160.
No,
No.
You know?
I think we should just make it
Absolutely
make it clear
not.
to the library board. Whatever we give employees here a raise, you can't exceed that.
yeah, I think that's
I mean, that's only fair.
I completely agree.
Because I think, if it's set up like it is upstairs, they're bringing this to us as a recommendation, not a,
Yeah,
we still have to vote on it.
Yeah.
it's a request.
And I think that's the way it is. Yeah, I think that's the way it should be. So do you guys want to? We can say to the board that we're going to give you guys a 2% increase, and then we can let them decide where it goes in or where it comes out of,
That'll be fun. You need a motion then?
Well, I think we should do a motion if you guys are okay with our city budget where we're at, unless you guys want to go through it. If you guys want to go through that, we can do that. But I think we should make a motion on the city, the fire department, and the library, all three of them separately. That's my opinion. You guys can.
I'd make a motion in the library that go to 2% rather than 3%.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the town of Wall Lake increase in the library budget would be 2%. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. As far as the city budget, is everybody comfortable with that?
I'd make a motion we approve the city budget.
I'd second that motion.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the city budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we need a roll call on that?
No. No, Steve, we don't.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. And last but not least, we need any discussion on the fire department, or? I don't see any discussion in it, but anybody else does? Then
I'd make a motion, we approve the fireman's budget.
Is there a second?
I'd second it.
Okay, it's been moved to second that we approve the fireman's budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Moving on, new business, discuss approve a resolution 2015-1, a resolution outlining FY 2015 budget amendment.
Yeah, and if you just look at that, it's on page 9. If you just look at, there's 3 columns: total budget as certified, current amendment, and then total budget after current amendment. Look at the current amendment line there, and you can see there's about 3 lines in the revenues that where we increased. Intergovernmental, charges for services, and then other financing sources. The intergovernmental was some CDBG money that I neglected to put in there. And then charges for services, I think that was like increased water and sewer rates. And then other financing sources, the majority of that other financing sources is bonds that we bonded for our a new edition. Yeah, for our new edition. Some of that would be grants and gifts, I guess you'd call it, for our park shelter house. Because then if you go down a little bit further, you can see our expenditures, and you can see culture and recreation, $337,000. That's our shelter house and part of our new addition. I thought the new addition would be done a little sooner than it was, and so we had some of that money that we paid in this year instead of last year, and so and then the park, that full $285 or whatever $1,000 that we're going to pay on that. Didn't know that was going to happen, so we didn't budget for that at all. And then if you go down a little ways further, well, I guess it doesn't say exactly what it's for. I don't know exactly what the $19,000 for the general government, that might just be salaries. I don't know exactly what that is, but so there's the reason why we have to amend those 3 things right there. So all we have to do is approve that, and then this is actually, in the future, we actually need to do this before we expend the money. We've already done this, so there's not really anything we can do about it other than approve this. So
I'd make a motion, we approve resolution 2015-01.
I'd second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approved resolution number 2015-01. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So then what we'll do with this now is we'll send it to Jim Dowling at the county, and then we'll also send it to the state, and then hopefully they'll be happy with us that we amended our budget. So
Okay, discuss and approve Mayor Druvengay's appointments. Page 10.
yeah, and I think the only ones that really changed on here, the mean electric representative, which we do by resolution anyway. So that's been kind of done for quite a while now. The alternate changed from Ron to me. And then pool committee advisor used to be Gary and now it's Albert. And I think that's pretty much the only two changes, unless Sac County landfill, Albert is the alternate now instead of just Steve being on there, so that's all that there was. And we're still looking for a pool committee member, so.
Well, I'd make a motion that we approve Mayor Druvengay's list of appointments.
Second that motion.
Moved and seconded that we approve Mayor Druvengay's list of appointments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I don't know why I thought of this when you said that, Franny, but did anybody notice our sign today?
What sign?
Our sign up by the country store?
I did. It said, I was going to call you and say Merry Christmas. Holy crap. First, it wasn't working at all.
No, right away in the morning, it was saying about Murders in the Air, the play that we had it this weekend, and then the hypnotist who's coming next weekend, and then what was it, 7:30 or 8 o'clock this morning, Rachel calls and says, hey, you guys want to do something with the sign because we're giving away free pizza at the country store and we're not supposed to be. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I went up and looked at it, and it was giving away free pizza, and it was January 16th for whatever reason of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So then I changed it, and an hour later she called back and says, hey, I want to tell you now that the sign's telling everybody Merry Christmas from the city of Wall Lake. Okay.
Somebody hacking into it? Or are you playing tricks?
No, I can run that thing.
I don't know what happened to it, so Rick and I went up and shut it off, and maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Cold
But-
weather. Let's got to it.
Maybe it's just.
Well, it wasn't that cold though, because when I went up to look at it, it said it was 75 degrees. So
It's confused. That's his problem.
yeah, it was definitely
Probably
confused.
coming out of this thing in here, I would guess.
Well, when I went in there right away this morning, that thing was unplugged, so that computer was off. So I don't know. I guess we'll turn it on in the morning and we'll see. But
Maybe it'll say Happy New Year.
Okay, discuss approved street seal coat quote.
It's quite a bit more than last year, wasn't it?
well, here's what I did, Ron. Rick and I drove around and looked at what Gary kind of mapped out, and we did a little more than what we asked the guy to bid on, a little more than what Gary
Looked at before.
looked at. And so what I think we should do is do some picking and some choosing here, because if you look at the first one, well, let's do this. Lynn, will you make a copy of this for me, please? The first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, the first four there, alley and parking, those are behind Corn Belt, behind Fitzgerald, all the way up from the country store to the telephone company, and then the whole parking lot there, south of Rob's store, and then
Library.
yep, behind the library, that whole thing in there. And we kind of talked about that because we should have a little bit of work done there for Farm Festival, but we don't want to do it before Farm Festival because I don't think it'll be done. I think it'll still be gooey and tacky and I'm sorry. Would you make
Traffic area.
one for each?
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
so
said
one of the
eight
guys.
copies.
I did. I'm sorry.
He did, Glenn.
And then the other two are behind like docks right over here, behind docks and beside Farber Nottaman. That's pretty bad right in there. But that'd be the same way that we wouldn't want to have that done before Farm Festival either. We'd like to do that right after Farm Festival, I think. That way it would have a whole year to cure.
I expect he'd probably want to wait to come in town and do it all at one time, though.
Well, but what I want to say is, if we pick out, if we take those four out and we take out Fifth Street, because the whole of Fifth Street is, I don't know, what is it, $18,000 roughly. If you take those out, you're at about $28,000 And that's about where we wanna be with we wanna keep it between $25,000 and $30,000 of, money that we spend. So when Lynn gives you each one of these things, then, go back to where you got your, go back to where you got your packet from on your computer, if you would, right down here. Open that thing all the way up, hit that square, open the square right here. Now hit the back button. One more time. And get that Wall Lake quote. Open that up. Yeah. Oh, here, let me see something. I'll show you a little better way to look at it.
It isn't in my documents anymore, is it then, or?
Yeah, it's in your documents, Franny, but it's all the way back and it's at the bottom of it. It's right as soon as you open it. Now, if you look down here,
In February yet, or is it?
there, then you can compare these. It's got numbers on it.
Oh, you're looking at January then, aren't you?
I'll go back one right here. There, double open that. And then go down, scroll down, you can see the
We should
map.
have this map right in the minutes.
I couldn't get the red to to print out. It wouldn't,
Missed some of it, didn't it?
well, yeah, no, it's in there. It's in there, Rob, except for this stuff here. And then you can look at this, number 8, and you can see how much it costs. $7,000 for that stretch right there. So then you can just see, you can look at both at the same time, and you can see what it's gonna cost to do what section of street on a map instead of just looking at, I think,
I guess my question would be, when we get into our little parking lot type places, like behind the library and that, would it be wise to seal coat those and throw those chips on it? Because it'll never get enough traffic
yeah.
to beat it down. I don't care what you do. Hell, it takes a year on a street.
That's a good point.
And I don't think we'd ever get enough.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of rock coming
Well,
off.
yeah, what we'd end up doing is scooping it all up next winter.
Winter time, yeah.
But, I'm not opposed to the seal coating on streets. I didn't like it when it was in front of the store because it got tracked in. But once it's done, then you're all right. But
Yeah, and actually, Rob, if you look at the alleys that we had done, they really didn't get pushed in or whatever you want to call it
Yeah.
either very well because there's not enough traffic on those. That's another question of what we're gonna do too, This company here that we had bid, these guys have always done a good job. The last couple of years, they've done a really good job of seal coating. When we had our alleys done last time, they didn't get done very well, I don't think, and so just didn't. I don't think we got what we paid for. But yeah, so we'll talk a little more about that then, Rob, I guess. But what I would say then is, if you look at number 5, First Street, down in front of CPS, that 2 blocks there, and then down around the corner, number 6. I think we should do those 2. And then that number 7 is that section of Sherwood Street that goes north up that big hill. That's one that needs to be done. All of Ward Street, 2 blocks of Ward Street. I guess we did the other block last year, so that would be Ward Street would be all the way done. the far north part of Sherwood Street.
Fifth Street there, just south of where you're talking about 9 there, that one's been done, hasn't it, Fifth? Up to,
Where at? Yeah. Yep, 5th Street and 4th Street, both sides there, Ron, are done.
okay.
And then I would say 13, Melrose Street, 14, it's just Stewart Street. I don't see that on the map though. Oh,
Way down at the bottom.
Yeah, way down at the bottom. And then 15 and 16 are just some intersections that are not in such good shape. I think those two. So if you look at all of those that I just talked about there, that's roughly $28,000. A little more than that, I
Basically
guess.
just leaving out Fifth Street, is that right?
Leaving out 5th Street and you're leaving out the alleys that we talked about at the beginning. Yep.
Okay.
That, seal coating may not be a good option for those anyway. So. And then another thing that we would do is we would have the street guy come in. He's going to come down here within the next couple of weeks whenever he gets in the area. And we've got some potholes that we want to get filled in again. So we would ask him to, bid on some of those. And, if we spend another $2,500 with him, and then this $28,000 will be right about that $30,000 mark. And we've got that in our bank account right now for our roads. So by June we'll have plenty of money to be able to do what we're talking about here.
We're gonna do it earlier again this year like we did last year.
Well, I think we want to do it in June, when it's hot, and give
I
it
think it did a better job.
enough time to stay hot and get driven on.
The year when we did it in August, it seemed like we scooped a lot of it out of the gutters and
Yeah.
out of the intersections.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
would agree.
gravel, where it seemed like when we did it in June, it wasn't near as bad.
That spot in front of Albright's where we replaced that, is that sinking, or is that, I see that's getting to be kind of a pretty good dip in there.
Yeah, we have to open that up and do something different, but I think fill it in and pour it back, make sure there ain't something going on there.
Yeah,
That was done before I was here, but
okay,
Daryl's told me.
That was
some
a
stuff.
deep hole.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a deep
Yeah.
hole.
He told me about some of the horror stories they had with it and ruining the tractor and stuff like that, but it was one of them places you gotta get it filled in right away,
Yeah,
and I think it settled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Hell, it was 15 feet deep, wasn't it?
yeah, it's pretty deep, I know
It
that.
was a lot. It was one of, wow.
I think it's a matter of just pulling that out of there. The worst part about it is the traffic on it,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get traffic
yeah.
into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic on that road.
I don't see filling it in with, that guy filling it in with blacktop. or-
No, yeah, it
It
was
needs to be
big,
taken out,
yeah,
poured back to cement or
yep,
something.
yep.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll want to do that there either.
Cause I think it'll just keep haunting us and coming back and back and
Yep.
back every year.
Is there a sanitary sewer caved in or something?
Yeah, they had to do something, I don't remember, I don't know what it was, I wasn't here then.
Yeah, I can't remember.
They had to fix something with the sewer there.
Yep.
I don't know if it was pipes or what they did for sure there.
So we need a motion at this time, or we?
Yeah, if that's what you guys want to do, yeah, that, then all we can do is just tell these guys when we want it done. Kind of already told him that we'd like to have it done in the middle of June if that works for them, and he thought that they could get us on the schedule around that time, so.
We need items 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Yep.
I'd make that motion that we do that.
I'd second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, then the On the state-built construction company bid, we do items 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discuss electric apprentice, electric costs, and electric rebuild.
Um,
Guess we gotta get back out of here first.
Yeah, so the electric apprentice question is just, what do you guys want to start doing? We've got 9 applications now. The second time that we ran the ads, we got another 4 people to send us a resume. Some pretty good ones too, I think. Nobody that's terribly close, but a couple of them that are pretty reasonable, and I think they would actually move closer to here. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys want to start whittling down? Do you want to have a work session and whittle down some from where we're at about 9 or 10 down to 3, or what are you thinking, 5 or?
I think we should get down at least 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can do that too. So, do you want to do that now, or would you rather wait? I think Gary's going to be home the first week in March. Albert's not going to be home.
Gary won't be home until after, at least the 20th.
Oh, he won't.
I guess, you know what I look at right now, the longer we keep putting it on, you know, he's gonna give it 2 weeks or whatever. Should it could be, we'll keep dragging this, it'll be July before possibly we get him, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can, I guess, Ron, what's your schedule look like as far as having a work session?
After tomorrow will be pretty good.
Okay.
After tomorrow, this week won't work for me.
Well,
I'll be gone.
I'll be gone 1st to the 5th of March, otherwise I'll be here all the time.
I'll be gone from the 7th to the 13th,
okay.
7th to the 12th.
So, let's see here.
So much for my idea, huh?
Yeah. Tomorrow looks like a pretty good day, huh?
I can any other time of the week, but not tomorrow.
No.
I got an annual meeting.
Well, we don't have to do it in the, I mean, I realize we got a ball game tomorrow night too, but we don't have to do it at noon.
No. Yeah, we could do it at night.
Tomorrow evening I could, not tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening you could?
You go to the ball game.
No, well, I thought about it, but I don't think so. So we could do that tomorrow evening if that's something that interested you guys. What
Yeah,
about
to
Myron?
me-
What about you? What do you?
I don't have any plans.
Okay.
I'm not going to ball games, no.
No.
Because I
Rick,
think
are you
if
gonna be
we,
around? Or?
What time?
I don't know what time would you guys want to do it.
You bringing the beer?
6 work for everybody?
6:30? 6:30?
Well,
Yeah, 6:30 is fine, yeah.
I can get that changed, too.
Just give me a time, I guess. Don't make any difference.
It won't take us long, I mean.
yeah, I can be here anytime.
If you wanted 6, that's fine.
6
Yeah,
would work for me.
Let's do it at 6
Okay.
then.
Okay.
Okay then.
Because I think if we do this now, then it's gonna take us, well, obviously 3 more weeks, you know, to get some interviews set up
Yeah.
before. And then we're already to the end of March, you know, by then, and then we interview, come to a decision. And we need to have this person hired by sometime in May, I think, you know, if we're gonna get going,
I even think-
Would be a good time.
or before.
I even think
That would
before
I'd
that.
be cracking the whip on him.
Yeah, I mean, it just as soon as we can get to work, let's get to work.
Yeah.
A lot of it's weather permitting. you know,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
But there's gonna be a lot lining up prior to digging Great Line.
Yeah.
And we talked to the engineer last week, Thursday or Friday, and they haven't even actually put any of our stuff into the computer yet, so they're going to start doing that in March, he said. So hopefully they get that started in the first couple of weeks of March, and we basically told them that if you can get us something to start with, you know, get us something to where we can get, you know, a couple of blocks in or whatever that may be and get started on it. That's where we want to be. You know, we want to get started. So, so that's where that's at. This page that you see in here, page 13, electric costs. What that is our mean cost or our total electric cost. And you can see page 13 says with the new mean rates. So if you look at our total cost per kilowatt of 0.0584, that's 5.8 cents. If you compare that to last year, which is the next page down, it's 0.0588. So the new mean cost is actually going to go down by a total of about $4,000. If you take that total across our whole purchases and everything, we should gain about $4,000 on our. That's if nothing changes as far as how much we buy, and so it's a good thing to know that it's not going to increase. We're not saving as much as I thought we were going to at first. Of course, some things changed in there. The kilowatt cost that we buy our electricity from mean is going to change from about somewhere around 3 cents to 3.77 cents. So that's going to change a little bit. I thought it was kind of interesting too. If you look at page 14 or 13 or 14, it doesn't make any difference. But if you look at our closer down to the bottom, total cost per kilowatt with our wind energy, it goes from 5.8 cents down to 4.8 cents. You know, that's a much bigger deal than I actually thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we actually save about $100,000 a year with our turbine, and that's total across the board with WAPA and with mean. So that's a much bigger deal than I thought it was. Kind of interesting. And then another thing that I did there was I put on the right hand side there, I did total cost by month, so we could see, you know, when we're selling our electricity, how much we're making by month, because we sell it average probably for about 9 cents. If you take it across the whole gamut of our sales. Now there are some people who use an awful lot of electricity who buy it for about 7 cents, less than 7 cents. So, you know, you can see in October if we're selling it for 7 cents to one of our bigger customers, we're actually losing money on that guy. So, you know, month by month, and then October there's not a lot of electricity sold. That's why it's so high per kilowatt in that month. So.
And we don't generate a lot of electricity off the wind generator then, do we?
No. No, we don't. November, December, January, February, March, and April are the months. And
Yeah, winter months are when it's gonna produce the most.
Sometimes in May.
Because of the air.
Yeah. July, August, September, and October, we don't hardly do anything as far as the wind generator goes. So that's just for your information. That's not anything that you guys have to vote on or anything like that. And then the last page there, I put in here George Schmidt's bid for boring, and this right now doesn't mean an awful lot because we don't know exactly where the engineer is going to tell us to put, you know, 2 wires or 3 wires or 4 wires. But what George told me was that if he has to use his little reamer, he's going to charge us $7 a foot. So basically, if we put 1 or 2 wires in the ground, he'll have to use his little reamer. He'll charge us $7 a foot. If we put more than that, and he's got to, you know, do a bigger hole, then he's going to charge us $10 a foot. So if you just break that up and you do the whole thing, complete 5,000 feet, it's going to be pretty close to $45,000 for boring. Now, there are some sections that we can take our trencher and we can trench pretty easily. There's nothing there. We can just trench from one end to the other, not one block to the other block, because there's, you have to go through under a driveway or, that kind of thing. But there's a couple of blocks that are fairly open that we could use our trencher, so that, it's not gonna cost us a whole $45,000 to do the boring, but worst case scenario, that's where that would be.
Do we have any kind of a figure on what it would cost us to trench it?
No, I mean, to trench it, it won't cost us hardly anything. That'll cost time,
Time,
cost us
That's what I
time.
mean.
but there's also some spots like down here by the lumber yard, you don't know what you're gonna run into down there.
Sure,
You might
that's just what I'm saying, you start thinking in those terms though, if it's gonna cost us $5 a foot or $6 a foot to trench it because of time
Yeah,
and that.
I don't know, I could work on that, Rob, I'm not sure how
I mean,
to,
it's just
how to
something
figure that.
to think about. If it's open and easy to do, but still it's gonna take you X amount of hours to do it, what is it per foot, and
Yeah,
Open trenching too is a different cost, cause you got reseeding and all that too. Little more
You got more labor.
labor
involved.
intensive.
It's not just trenching and put the wire in and you're done, it's
Mhm.
there's more afterwards.
If everybody had yards like mine, they wouldn't really care, but
Your yard's
mine.
beautiful.
Or mine now.
you got beautiful dirt piles.
Nice
So I'm
cement
the one that asked for
pad
it.
there.
so, so that also is nothing that we have to vote on. Just wanted you guys to know that this is where we're at.
How much notice would we have to give George?
What he told me was, and you'll see on here that it says maximum mobilization. What he told me was he wouldn't like to come in and do the whole project, because he would like to come in and do some, and then do a couple other jobs, and then come back and do some more. And we kind of think that'll work out all right, because
Yeah, I do too.
we can't get it all done, in a month anyway.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, if he can come in and even if, don't have a transformer set or something, he can still bore.
Yeah,
We've got open ends.
That's what we've talked about, is if he can, and again, we don't know what the engineer's gonna come up with as far as where the cables go, as far as transformers or gear or whatever. But if we can get it into basements and get those set, we can always pull the cable in later on, if it's in duct. Now, if it's direct buried, you don't want him to get too far ahead, you want to be able to do 2-3 blocks, have him take a break, go somewhere else, give us a chance to work on that, come back again and do some more like that.
And if he does a block, even if he does a block, it's gonna take you a week to get
Oh, yeah.
that done,
Sure.
Well, what Myron told me today that I didn't know is that, you don't want to have just wire sitting in the ground for a year without energy going through it. You want to have it energized relatively soon after it gets put in the ground. So if he bored and pulled back conduit, then we could put the wire in whenever we got to it. But if he's just putting in wire, then we've got to get to that relatively quickly. So, and conduits, it adds about 65 cents a foot to the project, which isn't a huge deal unless you have to have 3 of them. Then, then it's $2 a foot. So then you start adding some pretty good cost to it. So that's something that we've got to talk to the engineer
But
about.
the advantage is you can come back to it later on and dig your wires in that section and
Yeah.
work it down the line versus having the wire directly buried, then you've gotta do something right now with it. I mean, not tomorrow, but fairly soon. You can't get set for a year and a half down the road, and then we'll come back and do it. It's gotta be done right away. It gets moisture in it.
With the life, if it's in conduit, the life would be longer, wouldn't it?
It's not so much that, in the situation down behind the lumberyard, there's so much crap in the ground down there, we don't know what we're gonna run into. You don't wanna have any of that steel, concrete, cinders, whatever, you don't want that rubbing on the cable, so you will wanna put it in conduit down there. Over in this area where it's hopefully decent dirt, you won't have that situation. It's just that when you have street crossings, things like that, you wanna have it in a duct or a conduit. That way, if you ever have a cable blow up, it's a matter of digging up on both ends, pull the cable out, pull a new one in, and go back at it. Where if it's direct bury under the streets, you're gonna have to pick up and move over somewhere else and bore it and come back in again. So that's the advantage of conduit, duct, whichever, versus just direct bury underneath the streets like that.
Yeah, underneath the streets and a
Driveways and
driveway
things
and
like
stuff, I could see that being a pretty good advantage.
You get a lot of vibration too underneath streets, you know, the trucks and stuff, especially on heavy crossings like down here.
What's the depth that he's gonna be, go?
What's that?
4 foot or so.
3 to 4 foot, somewhere in that area.
Usually be
Now,
a crosswalk.
if he runs into a situation where we've got a bunch of utilities such as fiber and water main and stuff like that, he might shoot a little bit deeper or whatever, I don't know, but each of those situations, we won't know until we actually come to
Get
that
there.
point for the locates and stuff, to know what they got. And there'll be a lot of times where we're gonna have to pothole all that stuff too, to find out, you know, hey, what is the depth of that cable or that fiber or whatever it is.
So, unless you guys have any other questions, that's all, you know, just information for you guys to look at. The last thing on the agenda is the borrowing money for the electric rebuild. I just wanted to have that on there to see where you guys were at with that, and I mean, I think we kind of discussed that was probably a good option that we would try to look into. What do you guys want me to do? Do you want me to go to each bank and ask them to write something up, or do you want me to, you want to borrow half from one bank and half from the other? I mean, we're talking about, I think it was 0.375% difference from one bank to the other. One bank was 2.375 and one bank was 2.75%. I don't know what that cost is over a year, but it's, you know, probably $200 to $400 at the most. And that's if we borrow the whole $150,000 right away and we pay interest on it the whole year, which we're probably not gonna do. We'll probably do the, can't ever remember, line of credit.
Line of credit.
Line of credit, yeah.
Well, basically what we would do
Borrow
then
as you go.
is
Yeah.
set up a line of credit of 2 of them if we were gonna do that, and borrow the 2.375 up to the 100,000 first, and then borrow on the other one. I think we should get them both involved in it. It's complicated, or does it?
I was gonna say, how much work is that gonna take? Paperwork is that gonna take, Chris?
Well,
You know, I'm not sure that it's gonna be a lot more paperwork. We'll have to write a check to one and write a check to the other. That's not that
As
much.
far as setting up line of credit, that's.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a big deal there.
No, we'll have to get, Warren has to draft a letter, so he'll have to draft a letter to both of them.
Or somebody you really don't.
I don't think it's gonna be that much different. Personally, I think we should get them both involved. I mean, they both work pretty hard for our business,
That's
and,
not an issue. Like the gear, like the basements for your transport.
In my opinion, so.
and all that.
So yeah, what I'll do then is I'll talk to Warren and see if he can get a letter
See what we can-
drawn up for us. Basically, what he has to do is write a letter that says that we are a tax exempt organization, and then the banks have to have that on hand, so then they don't have to pay taxes on the money that they make on that stuff, so, on that loan, so. Then I think all we have to do after that is, they'll draw up loan papers and we'll have to have the mayor sign them, and, I'll probably have to sign them too, and we'll go from there. We'll just figure out how we're gonna pay it back and, when we wanna start it, so.
So we're talking about $100,000 from each one?
I don't know what we'd be talking about, Rob. You know, I mean, I've always had this $150,000 number in my head because that's what we save every year. I don't know if we can. Honestly, I don't have any idea if we can get by with doing a project for $150,000 this year. I don't know. I don't know what transformers are going to cost us. I think transformers, and whatever the switches are called, I think those are going to be the most expensive stuff that we have to buy.
And we don't know what the engineer's coming up with yet as far as numbers of transformers or gear or any of that stuff yet. That's what we don't know.
But we do know that transformers cost about $1,000 to $1,500 for a pad mount. So those aren't ridiculously expensive. I mean, we can buy quite a few of those for $20,000. But the switches are pretty expensive, aren't they, Myron?
Yeah.
Those are
Switches are about 15,000 each.
those are about $15,000 a piece. But we won't have to have many of those. One or two of those probably in the whole line there that we're gonna do. So, and I really think we can stay in that $150,000 range. You know, I think it'll be
As long as we're getting a
close.
line of credit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's just do 100 each.
Okay.
100 at
We don't
each
have to
one,
spend
and
it, I mean,
then
or, you know what I'm saying?
You don't have to go
Yeah,
get
you
it.
don't have to spend it.
We can though.
There's-
Yeah!
I'm just kidding. No, that's a good idea though. I mean, it seems easier to do $100,000 than.
So I think our first initial start to get going on this, we're gonna
Maybe
have
more.
expense- Yeah,
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Sure.
you know, cause I know we sit here now and say we don't really need a digger truck, but I guess when I look at things and I don't know, can our big boom truck handle lifting, like, if we have an outage and have a transformer go down, can it lift a transformer up, or do we have to have a,
Depends on what size.
yeah. See, that's what I'm kinda scared of too, we don't have anything to do with that.
Like that 1500 down there?
Yeah, I know.
No, it won't.
Which one's that?
That 1500 we sat down behind the lumberyard.
We won't have to move many of those though.
Even if we got a new one, would it, or a different one, would it even touch that, a boom truck?
As long as it's straight up, it'll do it. But you're not gonna set it
Yeah, yeah.
20 feet out and try to do it.
I'm just thinking like some of these pole transformers, if ever one go down, can our bucket truck handle?
It'll handle, our bucket truck, our big bucket truck will do up to a 50. When you start getting to a 75 and, well, I don't think we even have any, we do have 300s out by you guys also. It won't do the hundreds, but it'll do a 50 without any problem.
The area ones that won't lift them on down south?
It won't lift them 3 100s that are out by CPS out south.
That'd be pretty big.
On top of the unit. I think those are only 50s.
I see we got protect on this line, south of Stewart Street there. That because, or Melrose, that because it was slapping.
The spacers?
Well, it's like that warranty, it's about 4 foot.
Oh, no, I just haven't got back off the line yet.
Okay.
So did we do a motion so we could
We went and got
borrow
it
money
the other
out
day.
there?
Started going
Did
down the
we?
line, I was working on that pole
No.
there, and I just haven't got back.
We can't. All I do is,
I gotta get it, but-
there's no action on here. But I'll have Warren get that letter drafted and then we'll bring that back to another meeting. And then we'll be able to.
Okay, anything else on the electric? Okay, and then we've got public forum.
I don't know.
I do have one thing in the public forum. The more I think about it, the more I think that we should try to sod around the,
I do like that idea.
around the
Shelter
shelter house. Sod
Oh.
the sides of those hills.
Oh, instead of,
We'll probably never get to.
And I think,
Seating.
you know, I don't mean that you guys should do it. I think that we should get a big deal together and say, hey, we need a bunch of volunteers and let's sod this and we'll stake it in and then what we'll have to do is just set up a hell of a watering system to water the shit out of it for
I like the boys' opinion opinion on the south side of that building, I think it's way too steep. Way
Yeah.
too steep.
Have you driven by there and seen it?
Not
It
lately,
is.
no.
I got a 2-year-old granddaughter, scared the hell out of me, walk her down that sidewalk there. You know, 'cause it's steep,
What sidewalk?
that south side of that building.
Oh, yeah.
The playground side is bad enough, but that south side is horrid for steep.
Yeah, no, there's gotta be some dirt put in there or
Dirt
something.
in there, I think.
There's gotta be.
Well, what it is what it is right now, but we're gonna have to make a plan to do.
Yeah, no, I think they gotta have some dirt in there, cause you can't even
We
mow.
have plenty up in the new addition yet, we could.
You
take
can't
the
even
ball
mow
out
that.
there.
You can't even mow that.
No.
There's no way. But I honestly don't think they're done with that after talking to Travis the other day. I think there's some more dirt that needs to be put in there, so.
You know, and not only young kids, take an elderly person, get off on it a little bit.
Yeah.
In your wheelchair, honey, we're going for a ride. Be a little scared to go down there. But anyway, I really think that we ought to put that into our plan, to look at sodding it just because.
It's gonna take a while to grow grass.
Yeah. And if we can get some sod put in there and get it growing,
Yeah, I can look into that
We'll
and
do
see.
something before too long in the spring, you're gonna have the whole
Bottom
slope down
down.
on the playground.
We
Yeah.
cleaned a lot of it off the playground last spring,
yeah,
or last fall. A lot of it.
Yeah, I'll look into that and see what that entails. We should be able to find some sod somewhere, I would think.
well, I know that, like, the Bangford that married Mandy Brotherton,
Yeah.
he landscapes,
Oh, he does.
yeah. Not that we should hire him to do it, but we could find out where it's at.
Just find out where to get the sod at.
Right.
So I can't remember where we got it from, we did the ball diamond up here. That's what we did, just had a bunch of people come in and
Yeah.
laid it down.
Really?
Yep.
You mean the whole complex or just the
The
baseball
baseball
field?
field.
Yeah.
Sports
Yeah, you know,
is easier to get them to do it.
Sodding is not that hard, it's just you gotta have a few people that know what they're doing, the rest of them just gotta carry it around, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, that's as big
Yeah,
as
basically just
anything,
need somebody
you
to
know?
roll it down or lay it down, they just need to kind of roll it to.
Yeah, and then you,
And
on
then
the side of the hill,
water
you
the
know,
shit
depending on
out
how
of it.
steep it is, you may have to stake it down a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Got a
it'd be
landslide.
worth it in the long run, I think. And then, what kind of a water source do we have up there?
We have a 2-inch line going through that building.
Yeah, I mean, can we tap into it other than at the building though?
I believe so. I believe we can do it outside.
Cause yeah, what I'm saying is, can we get an outside deal where we can just have the thing kick on and run for 4 hours every night, you know, something like that?
Yeah, there's.
Watered at night and,
There isn't a hydrant on that corner, is there? No.
No, it's across the street.
Cross street is, okay.
But they-
To the
there's
north.
Put a 2-inch line off the main to that.
so before we get it all covered up, maybe we should think about, you know, getting an outside spigot of some kind, or, you know, not one that somebody can turn on, though, I understand all that. One that we can take out eventually. Just some kind of a plan for watering there.
You can just put a hydrant in.
I don't know. You guys know more about that stuff than me, but if we just, it would be better if we just had enough hoses laying out in the damn thing, that once we turn the water on, it just all got watered.
Does it all, yeah.
So nobody's gotta move the stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best way of doing it. Then you got
Turn it on for a
3,
half
4
hour,
hours,
shut it off.
Yeah, 3 hours, you know, to begin with on sod, really good.
Yeah.
As well lit as that is, I don't think you'd have any problem with somebody messing with it.
I don't either.
And the grass will grow 24 hours a day. 'Cause it's well lit at night.
All you gotta do is get the water on top of the hill, it'll run down.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want too much on top though.
Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else got anything for the forum? And I gotta keep you another here 20, 25 minutes in order for you to earn your money. Okay, if not, I would,
I'd make a motion we adjourn.
The second, that motion.
been moved and seconded, and all those in favor,
Aye.
motion carried.